Good day, everyone. I am Sharifa Muzina, and today we will explore Chapter 8, that is Propagation by Specialized Stems and Roots. In this chapter, we'll focus on how certain plant structures like bulbs, combs, tubers, and others help in vegetative propagation. Let's begin. Here's an overview of what we will cover in this chapter. We will look at 6 specialized plant structures, namely bulbs, combs, tuberous, roots and stems, rhizomes, as well as pseudobulbs. By the end of this chapter, you should be able to understand number 1, the principles of propagation, number 2, differentiate the characteristics of each structure, and number 3, explain on how they are used in propagation technique. Many plants develop specialized vegetative structures to store food and survive harsh conditions. And these structures are not just survival tools. They are also important for vegetative propagation, which helps in producing new plants. There are two main propagation methods, that is separation and division. Separation is a propagation that structure naturally detached such as bulb and combs, while division is propagation that involves cutting plants into sections such as rhizome and tuberous roots and stems. We use methods like separation and division depending on the structure. Let's start with bulbs. Here's a closer look on the bulb's parts. It includes tunic, main lateral bulblet, basal plate, adventitious roots, lateral bulblets, bulb scales, foliage leaf, as well as flower bud. Alright, now let's talk about the characteristics of the bulbs. Bulbs are underground stems found mainly in monocots. They consist of a short modified stem called a basal plate covered in fleshy scales for food storage. Meristem develop in the axil of the scales to produce underground miniature bulb that is called as bulblet or offset. Separation using offset from the shoot. Offset, that is daughter bulbs that attach to the main bulbs, are used to propagate many kinds of bulb. For example, the rapid for commercial production of tulip and daffodil, but slow for production of lily and hyacinth. If undisturbed, offset may remain attached to main bulb for several years, and they also can be removed when bulbs are dark and replanted into beds or nursery row to grow into flowering bulb, but it requires several growing seasons. There are two types of bulbs. Number 1 is tunicate bulbs, like onions and tulips, have a dry outer covering. And the other one is scaly bulbs, like lilies don't. And this can be propagated through separation, division, or micropropagation. As you can see from the slide, there is flowering shoot of mother bulb, new daughter scales, all mother scales, as well as growing point of daughter bulb for the next season flower. For example, daffodil. Daffodil bulbs are perennial and produce new meristem at center every year. Offset are grow in size for several years until they break away from main bulb but still attach at the basal plate. Offset bulb that can be separated from main bulb and planted, known as split. Within a year, a bulb become round or single nose that can produce single flower bud. 1 year later, new offset visible enclosed within main bulb with two flower buds, called as double nose. By the next year, offsets split away and bulb become mother bulb. Grading of daffodil bulb is by age, which are split, round, double nose, and mother bulb. Simply saying, daffodil produce offsets that is small daughter bulbs attached to the main bulb, and these offsets grow and eventually separate to become new bulbs. For commercial, round and double nose bulb are used. Mother bulb are used as planting stock to produce additional offsets, and if excess, can be marketed. And split are replanted for additional growth. To conclude this section on bulbs, we have learned that bulbs are specialized underground structures. Next, we will move on to another type of underground stems and roots used in propagation. See you in the next content. Thank you.